G'day and welcome to another edition of the RDFNL Footy Show. My name's Andy, always excited to be with you. I'm joined by Paul Turner from Highlands FM. You're back, mate, and you got some really good feedback on your last couple of appearances, mate, which is always good.
It's good to see people actually watch and listen, mate. They were some quite colourful comments at the footy. There's some things I said. Be very careful this time.
Well, I'm going to put you under the grill very early on because you did catch one of the more interesting games of the round this past week. You did watch Macedon and Wallen. Wallen, sensational, weren't they? What was your sort of take on the game itself?
Oh, they did what Diggers did a couple of weeks ago. Diggers, scrapped Macedon. And Macedon don't like a scrap. They like open, fast footy. And Wallen decided to scrap them and real enormous pressure on the ball carriers. And the Macedon ball carriers couldn't handle. I mean, they're decimated, Macedon, with injuries at the moment. But we predicted a Wallen win with seeing what Macedon had out. But Wallen themselves, Rex Heppy was out, and a few, so they had some good players missing as well. So
you like the effort of Josh Barr?
Oh yeah, the Bulldog. We go wrecking ball. We were calling him on air the other day. He laid 4 tackles in the first quarter, which turned the game for him. And his pressure around the ball was enormous. He's a big man, a big strong man, and when he tackled them, they remained tackled. And his effort alone in that midfield, I think we gave him best on ground, and so did Wallen Footy Club. He actually carried that team when Macedon was starting to roll a little bit. His pressure around the ball stopped them. Macedon
kicked poorly in the first half, but particularly in the first term, 1 goal 6.
They did miss some easy shots. Their goal kicking, bad kicking's bad footy.
Yep.
But look, it was more the pressure they put around the ball carriers. I mean, they just didn't get that free run. They tried. Well, Cookie was hardly sighted all day, so he was super quiet. Whereas Harrison is their best midfielder, and he's having to carry virtually the whole load at the moment. And they did a bit of work on him, shut him down a little bit, but then they lost their drive. And they had some young kids playing. They had a 15-year-old kid playing his first game, and
Paddy Doyle, how did he go?
Oh, look, I hope we don't call him very often, to be really honest with you, because he will go somewhere else in footy apart from here.
Yeah.
At that age, to play that level of footy and to play the way he did, Macedon's ground suited him. They played him on a wing and played him out wide. But Wallen themselves, they also had a young kid in Grinley too, and they were playing on each other, and it broke pretty even throughout the day. Both of them were effective and both were really good, but his skills are fantastic. Look, I hope you don't see him very often in this league, and he needs to go somewhere else next year, surely.
They got a good family pedigree as well, because Paddy's brother's a handy golfer too, and he's going to go places in that sport too. So it's good to see that sort of talent rise.
I need some lessons, mate. I'm heading up to Trentham after this to play. So
Macedon going scoreless for the first time this season in a quarter. They did that in the last quarter.
They got bashed up. And that's basically what, and we all know, I shouldn't say these things, but we all know that in finals, Macedon, when the pressure's really on, they do tend to fall over.
Yeah, and the record's there. Unfortunately, they haven't won in final.
People can say what they like. The record is there, and that's the case. Wallen did it again. Wallen just put enormous pressure around their ball carriers, and they weren't able to use their silky skills. We've been waiting all year for clubs to do this to the Cats, and Wallen got hold of them on the weekend, and just the enormous pressure they put on, and big bodies. When they hit, they stayed hit, and they just couldn't utilise their skills and showed out. When they're having a shot for goal, they're under enormous pressure trying to kick them from 50 out, and on tight angles they got pushed wide, and on the Macedon ground, which is a hard thing to do because it's a monster ground, as we know. But Wallen were terrific. They're going to cause some big issues, and they've got some really tough games coming up, but they're going to be thereabouts in the finals, that's for sure. They're just a forward short. They need a gun forward.
And maybe Rex Heppy could have made that difference.
Look, he could. And they got all their goals from running goals, realistically. But Rex Heppy, put him back at full forward, and they give him straighten him up a little bit. They're going to be a good side.
So we've got a team that's got a bit of a question mark on them, and they've sort of struggled a little bit in recent weeks. But their draw on the run home is quite favourable. The Sunbury Kangaroos going down to Romsey. I'm not surprised by this result. I think Romsey tend to play a lot better at home, and they tend to dictate games on their terms. They let it every term change. Sunbury Kangaroos, how are they placed at the moment? Because all of a sudden they've slipped out of the top 6.
Can't read them. They're the most if you look at their list, that's apart from Macedon, names and big ticks and high quality footballers, they're next on the list, or up there with Diggers. But they're not gelling. There's something wrong down there. I can't get it. They've got a star-studded list. Joshy Burgess and these guys from Sunbury. who are gun footballers in the Ballarat Football League, they're just not clicking. Whether it's because they've stepped back a league, they've taken their foot off the accelerator a little bit, I don't know. But I've seen Phil Lobb in Bendigo football. He was a dominant footballer. He's going okay, but so the whole team's just going okay. We've got the run home. We've got them here at the minute, and Sunbury will make the finals because they've got the easiest run home, and they've got Broadford, Melton Centrals, Lanston, Wood, and Heskett in the last 4 rounds. They should win all 4 and put them into the finals. But gee, they're going to have to start clicking shortly. Otherwise, these are going to be bowled straight out in straight sets.
Well, there's a potential that they maybe could lose to Wood and Heskett in the final round. Like that could be a possibility where their finals hopes could be on the line if they haven't got their confidence up, and they've got to really win well over the coming weeks.
I don't think they've beaten anybody above them in the ladder, and they're just relying on. And when they get done, it's not by just 5-6 points. It's 30-point losses against teams above them, and that's a big gap, and they've got to bridge that gap somehow. They've got a superstar forward line, Sudsy in the ruck, Sutherland, one of the best ruckmen. We coached him at Sunbury a few years ago. He was a terrific ruckman, the kid. So they've got everything there. Just something's not clicking at the club, and while they're struggling, to be really honest with you, against sides above them, they need to win. Well, they haven't got any teams above them to play now, but they're going into a final series with no big wins in teams above them. Yeah,
well, you're right, because they've lost to Romsey now, they've lost to Rupertswood, they've lost to Diggers, they've lost to Macedon,
and they've been fair margin losses. So they've got a bit of work to do.
Well, look, and congratulations to Romsey as well, playing a great brand of footy. Jack Jedwab, he stepped up with 5 goals, and to be able to play good 4 quarters from their part to lead all day.
Jack, playing Jack up forward seems to straighten that. When they do that, they have a good win.
Yeah.
I know they want to push him on the ball and that sort of stuff a fair bit, but to put him up forward, that seems to straighten that side up, and they seem to win their games when Jack goes forward. So it's hard to read Romsey too, because they can be as inconsistent as they come. I know they're a young side, and that happens too, but they've at the moment, for their run home, they've got Melton Centrals, Lansfield. Then the last 2 rounds, Diggers and Wallen, and it's going to come down to the Romsey-Wallen game, who's going to make the finals. And it will be. If you look at the score scenario, the point scenario in the ladder, between Romsey and Wallen, that last round, the winner will play finals, and unfortunately the loser's going to miss out.
And I guess unfortunately for Wallen, that the game's been played at Romsey.
Yeah, they do grow another leg over there.
They do.
And it's a big ground, and Wallen played well on the weekend on a big ground, so they're quite capable of doing it. That's going to be a ripper, that one.
Speaking of a ripper, Riddle have continued on their tremendous form. 7 in a row. They took down Diggers Rest by 28 points. And if you're looking for a season that's going up and down like a yo-yo, you go Rupertswood defeated Diggers Rest, and Diggers have come out and beat Macedon the following week, and then they've dropped this one after leading in the first half in a low-scoring scrap.
Look, well-coached, young, enthusiastic team who are very, very quick.
Yep.
And coming into September, that's what you want, because we've got some slippery grounds at the moment, and yet they're winning quite comfortably. They've got their structure right. These kids are starting to understand it and have some confidence in their footy ability. So to knock over Diggers, who we saw beat Macedon 2 weeks ago, last week, that's a monster effort for that football club. That's their biggest win for the year,
definitely,
I would say. And it puts them on a good path. Their run home to the finals isn't too bad either. We've got them predicted them to finish 6th. They've got Wallen away this weekend, which is going to be an absolute ripper. Then they've got Rupo away, so there's 2 tough games. If they can pinch one of those, they're on a good track. Then Centrals and Broadford, so they should win both of those, and they're at home both those games. Going very well. I mean, Sonigan and then Hayden Ross is going really well. He's kicking a few goals again. They're up and going, and both the Walsh boys, noticed lately, have been in the best players as well. So their main players are starting to play good footy at the right time of year. Yeah,
well, they kicked 14 goals on the weekend. 7 of them. You got Harry Power, Matty Panuccio, Nathan Crofts, and Donahue. They're young guns that have come through, and that's outstanding. And then you've got Ben Sonigan, who's firming strong, who's preferable down back, but he's doing the job up forward as well.
Pinch it, good players can go either end of the ground, and Ben's one of the better players in the competition. So they're on the right track.
How would you rate Diggers? What would they sort of be taking out of that game there?
Diggers were brilliant against Macedon. I mean, they play scrappy footy.
Yeah.
And you can see how on a bigger ground, and when it opens up a little bit, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
They killed them and they scrapped Macedon, and that's what they did. But you can't scrap on a bigger ground because there's too much room. So I could understand how Riddle got on with speed and been able to open up. So they're going to have their issues in finals, Diggers, because they're not overly quick. Some of the big guns aren't exactly firing at the moment. Morton needs to lift big time.
Yeah, Morton and Hine, they'll be the first to admit they probably haven't had the best seasons.
They need to dominate. They're ex-AFL players. They should dominate this competition, this level of football, and they're not at the moment, for whatever reason it might be. They've got some work to do on a big ground. I don't like. I mean, Diggers Run Home's not bad. They've got Woodend. You're probably expecting to maybe win that one. Certainly, they should beat Rockbank. Then the last 2 rounds, they got Romsey and Macedon. So their finals campaign could be coming from an elimination final point of view, the way it's looking at the moment. And on a big ground, they're quite easily beaten because they're just not quick.
Yep. Another big game we've got, Melton Central's 12-12-84 defeating Rockbank 11-11-77. Great to see Rockbank getting some of their key players back, but most importantly as well, Melton Central's back-to-back wins, which is great for them.
First time for a long time, I think, they've had back-to-back wins. Look, they're both developing footy clubs in a developing footy area. I mean, I'm not sure if people are expecting too much of these clubs at the moment. Just give them time and let them develop, because they will be the future powerhouses of this competition.
Yeah, because they've got a lot of good young kids coming through both sides.
I mean, it's the biggest growth corridor of football of people in Melbourne. So that means players and people are going to come into their area. So, Rockbank, they've never really pushed finals and that sort of stuff. They're just a developing club who needs a bit of time. Melton Centrals themselves, they'd be really pleased to have that win. I presume it was played here, I think, wasn't it? Rockbank.
It was played at Rockbank, yep.
Yeah, and that's a tough ground. It would have been a little bit blowy down there.
Yeah.
Good win from Centrals, and to have a couple of wins later on the season holds him in good stead for next year.
Good to see Mick Egan step up and kick 4 goals in that one. And
Mickey Egan's, as I said, we keep tallies of all the votes and sort of stuff. He's going quite well, Mickey Egan, and if you were allowed to punt on a Bowen medal, he might be a chance.
He definitely could be a chance to have a sensational season. Another game, Rupertswood. They've probably the highest scoring shot tally for the season against Port Broadford, 26-37, 193, the 3 straight 18. Broadford going scoreless after quarter time. I didn't think with Broadford's improvement this year that we were going to see a bigger margin than what we saw in round 1, where they went down by 195 points. I was a bit surprised by this one, to be honest.
Oh, look.
But Ruperts would have
flown. Littlewood and the boys at Broadford, they've carried that team all year. It's in the middle of towards the end of the coldest part of the season. It's a slog at the moment for them. It's what I liked about the score was actually Rupo have got a bit of ruthlessness about them for once, and for them to be able to put their foot on the throat of a team and kill them off is a great thing for Rupo Footy Club. And look, they've got the Pottlesacs kicking goals, which is really important for the club. They've got some of the better players up and flying. They've got some kids they're bringing in. Young Eddie Whelan came in and showing they're not afraid to play the kids. So have Hetherington kicking some goals and that sort of stuff. They're on the right track. They could win this, win the whole thing, and they're on. I mean, Fitzy and the coaching staff down there have got them playing good footy at the right time of year. They're a side that loves the open space and the big grounds where all our finals are going to be played.
Yep.
They've got hardly any injuries at the moment. They are well placed to cause some massive upsets, and that'll be coming up. And their run home's not bad either. They've got Macedon in 2 weeks' time in the second half of the split round, then Riddle, and then Woodend and Rockbank. So they're going to come home. We've got them predicted to finish first, second or third. At the moment, they're equal top of the ladder. So they're on the right track and they're going really well.
Yeah, but they'll also have the same question marks around them come finals as well. They haven't won one since the competition started.
Macedon and Rupo could very well play off for the second week of the finals.
Somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to win. And at the moment, you'd have to say Rupo would be favourites, but I mean, Macedon have got a heap of players to come back in. I'm sure Rupo are carrying some injuries. Everyone's carrying injuries this time of year, and resting some better players. I know that's going on too. So I'd expect Rupo probably to... if they weren't there in the last day of the year, that club's underachieved this year.
Yep, that's a fair assessment given how well they've improved as a club. Last game we'll quickly assess. Woodend Hesker too strong for Lansfield by 70 points. The Hawks coming off their lowest score in quite some time. We do appreciate your time for looking back in the past round of the RDFNL. We look forward to a shortened version of the program a little bit later in the week, where we look at the 3 big games to come up in the first weekend of the split round.
Cool, mate. No worries, Andy.